Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Turnstile in the studio today with the new Seguin River Monsters head coach, Tony Perez. And hopefully I'm not killing us with our bump music, but I wanted something to amp us up.
Sounds good.
It's a big deal. Summer baseball, any baseball, any talking baseball is good, but Mike G in studio, kibitzing in the back here, has done a great job bringing TCL to Seguin, and I know he's super excited to have you on board for next season. It was a wild and woolly inaugural season, a lot of lessons learned, but good baseball. But at the bottom, the league, and we can talk about Seguin River Monsters baseball, but we'll also just talk a ton about you. I know we have a Lubbock Christian connection. We discovered that before the show. But anybody tuning in, it's just going to be baseball banter. If you like people talking baseball, that's what you're going to get here today. And hopefully it will culminate talking about the Seguin River Monsters season. But I'm sure we'll cover a lot of ground as we go back through the years. But let's start at the very beginning, Coach Perez. And you had a pretty funny joke too, because Tony Perez, you get that all the time, as I'm certain many people do. But great player for the Big Red Machine. You show up and they're like,
Yeah, especially being in Ohio the last five years or so, and everybody gets excited because they think it's the Hall of Famer. And I walk in the door and they're like, "Oh, just you."
yeah. That's right. So you did the last, because I looked up the Grand Lakes League, and it was the Mariners. And I had one question about the Grand Lakes Mariners field, because you can see it. And then there's like the dugout is like built in, and there's like a structure over the top with windows. What is up there?
That's a press box, and also there's an indoor facility.
Oh, okay. For
behind the dugout, yes.
batting cages and all that?
Batting cages.
Okay. Yeah, keep that mic as close as you can. We're getting, no, I mean, you're good. I'm always worried about bad sound. That's my battle. So Grand Lake Mariners, but let's go back to the beginning. Where is Coach Tony Perez from originally? Texan, born and raised?
Born and raised out west in Midland, Texas.
Okay, West Texas.
West Texas, yes. Spent my childhood around the baseball field. My dad was a college baseball player, so I just grew up around the field.
Brothers and sisters?
I have one brother. He was a baseballer.
Older or younger?
Younger. He's 7 years younger.
Okay.
And he had the opportunity to go to Japan and China and play.
Oh!
As a young kid.
Oh, man, oh, man. Now, I'd love to hear all about that, because if you watch any of my ranting, a lot of it's getting involved in KBO and the Japanese League, NPB, and the Taiwanese League more, because I'm so upset with Major League Baseball and the institution of the Universal DH. But I'll save that for later. So born in Midland, Texas. Everybody hears about Midland, Odessa football, Friday Night Lights, of course. So the baseball must be drawing from the same talent pool. That's good baseball in West Texas.
Yep. I think it just goes along with if you have a good football program, of course you're going to have athletes, and that carries over to the baseball. Not only baseball, but all sports.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say, I'm not sure if it could have been Midland, but then there's like the Benavidez brothers were out there, and they ended up at Lubbock Christian.
Yes.
A lot of good.
I know him well.
Oh, you know Eric Benavidez and his brothers. And his dad was a coach too, I think,
Jesse,
right?
yes.
Yeah, Jesse Benavidez.
He and my dad were actually college teammates at LCU.
Dude, Lubbock Christian. Last Chance University is just legendary. We'll have to tag LCU in this so they can see what a couple of their alumni are doing. So out of Midland, and then the JUCO, right? Because we are JUCO warriors.
That's correct.
What was the recruiting like out of high school? For me, it was almost zero. You kind of like had a coach or a dad who knew somebody, and like you're going to Lassen. And for you, how was it transitioning? And by the way, let's go back position-wise, playing in assess yourself as a high school baseball player.
I had a lot of success at the high school level. I was a 3-year starter on the varsity, and there in Midland, you don't have freshmen at the high school, so I started as a sophomore, and that was considered special at the time.
No, that's.
And I was I had some good production. I was all district all 3 years. And we had a good baseball team. We won a district championship my junior year.
Okay.
So, but again, I wasn't getting recruited by the D1 guys. I was, of course, a small dude. 5'7", 5'8", 155-ish as a senior.
It's the
160.
beauty of baseball. Anybody can do it. So what position, like hitting and pitching some, or mainly just positional?
Just a center fielder my whole
Oh,
career.
okay.
Yes.
Just go get it. Just
That
go
was
get it down in the outfield. Not myself. Outfielders right there. Got to
Nice.
unite.
Never was interested in playing on the infield.
Yeah.
And that was always the thing. They always tried to make me a second baseman. And I just wanted to stay in the outfield.
That's interesting. So, I mean, the general assumption, run well, right? You could fly a little bit, and base stealing that'll be like an interesting conversation to have with you, and the tricks and tips and techniques that you'll be able to share with the guys in summer baseball. But okay, so then we're on to JUCO.
New Mexico Junior College. In fact, Larry Hayes, who was the coach at Tech at the time, knew about me and was helping me out to get to at least the college level.
Oh, nice.
And he made a phone call, and Ray Birmingham came into the picture, and he recruited me, signed me, and ended up there at New Mexico Junior College for 2 years.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Let me. I forgot to start audition because that's how I do things. We'll get this. We'll capture this audio as well. I can fix at least from that point forward, if we have bad audio. But so Hayes family, great family all around. Very well known in the Lubbock baseball community. So he reaches out and just helps you get to JUCO. How's the baseball? What like conference is that New Mexico JUCO league?
It's part of the Western Conference, and really good teams. Back at that time, Howard was probably one of the best in the country.
Yeah, was it Howard? Yeah,
Howard
they're down in Texas in
Big Spring.
Big Spring, right? Yeah.
But yeah, definitely good baseball out there. That western part of Texas JUCO has expanded, and they've added quite a few teams over the years. So good league. I mean, the arms were incredible.
Yeah.
Guys that were throwing low 90s, mid 90s, and just crazy athletes from all over the world.
Yeah, good. JUCO's great baseball. Any memorable games or guys that you had on your team are matched up with in JUCO?
Well, I had a teammate, Brendan Donnelly. He's got a couple of world championships
Yep.
with the Angels and with Boston. He was a teammate, but also we beat Frankie Rodriguez that year from Howard. And I think he was a first rounder.
He was a closer ultimately, wasn't
I
he?
think for the Twins. Yeah, he made it to the big leagues, but yeah, he was probably the most famous of that group out west at the time.
Okay.
He was a New York kid, and yeah, I mean he was probably one of the best in the country at that time.
Wow.
And we gave him his only loss that year.
There you go. You remember that kind of stuff. Oh man. So JUCO on, and then where from New Mexico JUCO?
Arkansas Little Rock.
Okay.
Ended up at Arkansas Little Rock, and
That was Sun Belt Conference.
yes, still is. Still
Okay, yeah, because we played them at South Al. We went up there, and I forget there was like the outfield fence, but then there was like an exterior fence with barbed wire. Is that right? Do I remember that right?
It was a tough neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And Little Rock's a fine town, but there was a period of, and this is the problem with me, Coach, is I go on little rabbit trails when I think of something. So we had to go play Arkansas Little Rock, and it was like that Bangin' in Little Rock documentary was always kind of like hovering. It was like a smudge on the beautiful city of Little Rock, but there are some tough neighborhoods. And they're like, on the home run balls, did you go get them or no? They're like, no, just leave them or something like that. I don't know what it was.
I think we just left them. A lot of times when we did our running, we could actually hear gunshots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
That was kind of, different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I totally remember that documentary.
Was the infield turf there
Infield
then,
was turf.
and the outfield was grass?
Yes.
Yeah, Arkansas Little Rock. Well, that was good baseball, too, out there.
Yep.
And then we are brothers, Chaparral brothers.
Chaps.
We bounce out of D1, come back to Last Chance University. Tell me about that process, because I've got my own story on how we bounce around at baseball. But
With me, it came down to grades, basically.
Okay, yeah.
When you're young and you think you know everything and you really don't, well, it came in and smacked me right in the face. So I wasn't eligible, and Darren Hayes reached out to me and signed me, and was able to take some classes to become eligible, and that's how I ended up at LCU.
That's awesome. Mine isn't as cool. Mine was I kind of flamed out at D1. I was like big hype JUCO, and it's like, dude, you gotta come in, dude. You're like whatever, supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. And I hit okay. I actually raked in fall ball because I don't know what the pitching coach Powell was cool, but he kind of like had the pitchers like he wanted them to throw in a certain sequence, you know. And one of the things he always did, he's like, all lefties must start lefties out with curveballs. Well, that was not really fair to the pitchers because for fall ball, like it was pretty.
You're sitting on a pitch.
Yeah, like you could sit on a lot of pitches. So maybe I was okay, but I was like maybe better than I was. So opened up batting the 3-hole in Miami, and I was like, dude, this is it. I'm going to the show. Just was like flamed out. I batted like 300 maybe. And they're like, you can come back next year on the same scholarship, but you might want to go somewhere else for your senior year because we got a couple outfielders coming in. They're pretty good. You really have to fight for your spot. And one of those outfielders was Juan Pierre. So yeah, I wouldn't have played in front of that guy. Right. And I probably wouldn't have played in front of like 7 other outfielders anyway. But how it goes, you make some calls. People go, I know this guy in LCU, and there you're playing. We're both playing for Darren.
Darren Hayes. Yes.
Like what, 6 years apart or something like that.
Yes, I was there in 93.
Yeah, 93, and I was 98. So big tip of the cap to Lubbock Christian baseball. Really good baseball. That NAIA is such good baseball. But I forever thought, and you can tell me this as a coach, and I think they just did away with it. The Lewis and Clark had like an automatic bid to the NAIA World Series every year.
Yeah, because they hosted it.
They hosted it, but I mean, still, we can have it on your field, but you got to earn your way in. That was the ultimate riddle. Yeah. Like NAIA, you can't say you're like different than NCAA. Like if you did that NCAA, people's heads would explode.
Right.
Like you can't say you're just different because you're smaller. Like you still have to have like the brackets. You got to get there to get there. I thought that was the craziest thing forever. And they have tons of World Series titles because of it, because they got way more opportunity.
They were guaranteed a spot, basically.
I guess. I mean, if you give me $1 million at a blackjack table, I'll probably win 50,000. So, like, I mean, just a lot of chances. But I mean, that's good baseball too. I mean, I respect Lewis and Clark, but that little wrinkle, and I bet there's players there that are like, I didn't like that. That seemed a little. We were good, but you got to make it fair. So Lubbock Christian NAIA. How far did you guys get that season? Because there's a couple national championships at Lubbock Christian.
That season, Dallas Baptist, when they were NAIA, put us out.
Okay.
So our road ended at Dallas Baptist.
Yeah, we did. Oklahoma City broke our heart. We beat them in the conference tournament, but then we both got sent to the same regional. And we're like, oh man, that sucks because we're both pretty good. And you're going to take out one of the big guns, and we didn't make it out of that one. So, well, that's fun. Yeah, Lubbock Christian, for those who don't know, outfield wall is made out of cement cinder blocks. Don't recommend that. I don't recommend that to any school.
Yeah, the wall does not give.
For any facilities. However, if you do hit one off the wall, get ready to run, and outfielders better back each other up. So that thing's bouncing a long way back into the infield. Well, talk about, and this is important too, because part of my questions go to like the psychology of baseball and the love of the game. And there comes a point in all of our, because I actually played for the Lubbock Crickets for like half a season. That's kind of a funny story, but there's like this, you don't want to let go, man. You're just like, dude, everybody wants to be a major leaguer. Don't ever tell dudes they can't make the major leagues, because you can see Altuve, you can see all these different guys be like, you can do it, man. Just work hard, and when the dream dies, it dies eventually. Even for major leaguers, they retire and go play golf after they're 45, like Nolan. He's got a ranch. But for the guys coming out of college and the guys that will be playing for the Seguin River Monsters, this is like the middle of the dream. We're just like, everybody's trying to improve. What was it like transitioning from that in your career after baseball? And did you play some professionally and things like that?
I tried to make it last as long as possible, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I played in some leagues, nothing professional, but played a little ball in Mexico with Ruben Felix. He's going to be part of the River
Where
Hockey
in
team.
Mexico?
The Juarez area.
Okay, yeah.
And but yeah, I kind of got it that I wasn't going to make it. And it was time to get a degree.
It's painful.
It's staying. Yes, it's painful, but
If you love the game, it's painful.
I knew that I wanted to be a coach, and so it was an easy transition for me because I knew I was going to do baseball daily,
Yeah.
in a different fashion.
Okay, and so what turned into the first coaching gig for you?
Actually, University of Texas Permian Basin. This was before they had their baseball team. They needed a softball coach.
Okay.
So I spent 2 years as a softball assistant, and then from there, I got a job as a baseball coach at the high school level.
Oh, nice. What high school?
Current High School in East Texas.
Current High School in East Texas.
It's right next to Corsicana.
Okay. And shout out to Caleb Vuono, UT Permian Basin. He was one of our studs this year. Good stuff. So softball coach for 2 years, and then you got on coaching high school. And just kind of take me through the coaching years up. That's a handful of years, but getting into the summer ball, and I saw some stuff in there with like 13U. It was like the national tournament for like national team selection tournaments and things like that.
Yes. Well, I spent a couple years there in Kearns, and then I went back to the college level as a JUCO coach, and spent several years as a junior college coach.
Which junior college?
Vernon College.
Vernon, okay.
And but yeah, I always wanted to be part of the collegiate summer leagues. Being a player in the Jayhawk and in Arizona, it always had an attraction to me.
Yeah.
It's the next thing to pro ball.
Yeah.
It's the next best thing to pro ball. So I ended up in the Florida League. I'm kind of bouncing around, but it all just after Vernon, I got an opportunity in the Florida Collegiate League with the Squeeze, Winter Garden Squeeze.
Okay.
And spent some years there.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see those jerseys. Do they have like an orange getting squeezed? That would be
They
great.
had some cool jerseys, but
Hopefully lots of free, fresh OJ, too.
yeah, and actually in between innings they had something like that.
Oh,
So
that'd be great.
squeeze an orange into a cup, or they had a lot of things like that. But yeah, again, I got to spend 4 or 5 years in the Florida League, and one of my former players from Auburn was hired to up north in the Great Lakes League, and he gave me a call and wanted some help.
Yeah.
And I went up to help him one summer and ended up taking over their program.
Nice.
They invited me to take it over, and since I've been there since 2019, and now that this opportunity came up, I jumped on board as fast as I could.
Oh, that's awesome. We're super excited to have you. So talk about, because you played Jayhawk League.
Yes.
Talk about your summer ball experiences as a player, because it's unique into itself. There's like that school structure, and I tell Mike G this. There's like that 2 months, and I went to Albany, Schenectady Mohawks, Bob Belizzi. But I mean, to be perfectly honest, there was a lot of beer drinking and partying, and we did like some baseball camps to chase tail. But developmentally, I probably should have, like, we went to the gym and worked out, but I was probably hungover half of those times.
Right.
Don't touch the stuff, kids. Stay sober. But it's hard as a 19-year-old. You're like cut loose from the parents. I'm in New York. Oh my gosh. So there's like this balance on trying to find player development. You're using wood, and sometimes you're taking like summer jobs. It's a wild 2 months for everybody, for the ball club, for the coaches, for the players. And I mean, people are working on stuff. There was guys that had some really awesome seasons. So just talk about your experience and things that you kind of think about, would be good for summer baseball and that vein of thought.
Well, the way we've run it is we try to make it as close to pro ball as possible. And, yeah, I mean, we have definitely a lot of rules, and it's a commitment that they need to take serious, because the last thing we want to do is send a kid home. But it's all about business.
Yeah.
We definitely want to make sure that they lift their weights daily, and we'll schedule maybe some days off so they can lift heavier on the days that
Mm-hmm.
they know they're not going to play, when we have a rotation kind of set up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, everybody wants to play pro ball,
Yeah.
but when you're out there 6 days out of the week, they realize that the body breaks down.
It is hard.
And so, yes, they definitely the partying can be an issue. And for sure. Those guys kind of weed themselves out.
Yeah.
And the guys that are serious about it and actually want to play pro ball, that's the type of kid that we're hunting.
Yeah.
And and we don't want projects. We want guys that come in with the serious attitude from the get go, and understanding that this is about winning a championship. We're not. I get the development part, but also we want them to be team players.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to produce. Situational hitting is a big part of it. We don't want them to be selfish. At the end of the day, the W is what matters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't wait for Mike G and you to hoist the TCL trophy. That's what we're looking for. And I'm going to forget about it, so I'm going to mention it now because I'll forget about it. This is one thing I'm saying, and this is like a JUCO staple for coaching. But I'm just saying, first and third defense in the TCL is like fundamentally just got to be able to defeat that, because we're losing one-run games, and I don't know how much time as an announcer I have. Don't listen to me. I'm not telling you what to do. But, we both played ball. I was like, that drove me crazy. I was like, man, we're just getting run all over. And it's we had good catchers too, but you can't concede that base and take away that force, and you got to be able to protect that run. And that one it's a technical wrinkle. You have to train to it, run all those frickin' drills so everybody on the infield knows, and defeat that frickin' steal. That's like 5 games right there. Yep. 5 one-run ball games right there.
For sure, and that goes along with the pitcher just controlling the running game, changing up their looks and their timing, slide step, picks. Not so much that we're trying to throw them out at first. I mean, we're running a play. Basically.
Yeah.
We're just wanting that person to stay close to the bag. But, yeah, definitely we can't just give up a free base. There's no way.
Yeah. No way. Oh, man.
And especially with these pitchers that have trouble locating,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that turns into a mess very quickly.
In your experience, and another thing about, because TCL is a pretty well-scouted league. I think there's some prospects in there. And this maybe leads into my next question after this on player psychology, because we were all different guys. You saw all the personalities on the team, and sometimes it just takes that nice, approachable coach who's like, dude, you're awesome. You just got to do this or something like that. And sometimes you got to coach and I'm a big believer in confrontation and getting the finger in chest, and somebody telling me, hey, Turnstile, you're freaking weak. You're better than that. That goes miles. Yeah, your butt hurts right then, and you get that look in your face, but you need it. So there's a balance with player psychology and that sort of thing. But then you get them for 2 months and they're coming from their coaches. So talking just a little bit about how you're kind of handling the different guys, because obviously you got to treat everybody the same, but some guys just need to hear different things. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, when I approach the kids or when we have the first talk, the first meetings, I tell them that, hey, you got to have thick skin in this game and a short memory to be successful. And if you get butt hurt, then it's probably not the right game for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you get destroyed really quickly. It humbles you. But, yeah, definitely I have a pitching coach, Nick Palacios, that's been with me. And he's a younger guy. He's probably 28-ish. He actually played in the TCL for a couple of seasons. He played at Abilene Christian.
Okay.
Played a little bit of pro ball. So he's young enough there where he relates on, some of the stuff that they're into, because I'm 51.
Yeah.
So, my college days are long gone.
You're ageless, Coach Perez. Oh, my gosh. But, well, that's that. I didn't mean to cut you off. You probably had. But, yeah, I mean, just handling players and player psychology. It's interesting.
Yeah, and again, you build that relationship over, and it goes quick. You get, that first week you try to figure out these kids and build that relationship, that trust, because, I mean, if you approach them and they trust you, then they'll probably be willing to do some things that maybe they're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
As in, bunting and just different situations.
I'm a big advocate of small ball. I think that's the JUCO in all of us. I mean, yeah, we all want it. You got Jose Gutierrez up there. Dude might hit a 3-run homer. And honestly, all the dudes could. But, if I was coaching myself and I could be coach to me, be like, yeah, dude, I know you can probably do it, but you're not. So just move the runner. Runner on second, ground ball to the right. Just make that happen for me. Just the little things. You're like, what? You're not saying I'm Mickey Mantle? No, I'm not. So like just the little things that you can do to move runners defensively, the realities of talking to guys, because just because you're the guy that can hit the ground ball the right side doesn't mean you're not going in the 19th round, a year from now. Do the little things first, then the 3-run homers come. That sort of mentality.
Right. Yeah, sometimes a ground ball up the middle
Yeah.
is just as good as a double down the line. That runner on third, less than 2 outs, that ground ball in the middle still gets that up run in. So, yeah, situational hitting, and I'll beat that to death because that wears me out, especially with the college kids that they think a punch out's okay. Striking out, I got my at bat, I'm going back to the dugout. My exit velo and this and that. But if you didn't score the run, then
Yeah.
it's a waste of that bat.
And I thought the River Monsters were real good this season with aggressive base running, and that makes a huge difference in close games. Of course, just having that extra. We had some all stars out there, but reading angle out of the hand, getting that jump before it goes in the dirt, and those sorts of things like you can talk about because you were a speedy guy on the base paths, and your philosophy on taking leads, reading pitchers, and stealing bases and things like that.
Yeah, we're going to be super aggressive. One of the things that, of course, we're going after is speed guys, guys that the middle infielders, the outfielders, 6'6" guys, 6'7" guys in the 60, and yeah, pressure. It's pressure offense. A lot of times I'll have a green light on, and I'm expecting them to go in 1 to 2 pitches. But yeah, definitely we want to be super aggressive, reading the down angle of the ball. Anything in the dirt, especially early in the game, we're going to take that chance. And that's something that I preach is make sure we get that good secondary, read the down angle, and if we have a chance, let's go.
This is just a technical thing because I love talking baseball. Leads at second. There's a variety of trains of thoughts out there. One is straight between the base. Shortest point between two lines is a straight. And I want to say I've seen, and we were taught this, and I did it when I played, but you would start super deep, get like way behind the bag. Shortstops hated that because you were in the line of where they were going to cut behind you because now you're deep, and then you're sort of walking into that straight line thing. Yourself as a base stealer, what was your sort of lead technique from second?
With less than 2 outs, and I was pretty much even with the bag.
Yeah.
Like you said, straight line. But with 2 outs, I would get deep.
A little deeper.
A little deeper, and because you're going to go usually on contact anyway, so you just want to create that angle when you hit that third base corner bag to make it easier to get to home. But yeah, definitely on a steal situation, I want to be even with the bag.
Okay. Now tell me if you've heard this play before. This is the runners on second, and I think it's got to be less than 2 outs in this situation. This was old Lass and Juco. The cut the bag at third. It's a cheat. Leo DeRocher would probably say, okay. I'm not saying the Seguin River Monsters. I'm just asking if you've seen it before. You drop the bunt down third. He's got to make the barehanded play to first. The runner is stealing on the bunt, and he just, because of the 2-umpire crew, he just cuts the bag. He never touches third. He cuts off like 3 steps and goes home, and you score the run on the bunt down the third base. Have you seen that one?
I have seen that, and like you said, with the 2-man crew, you can get away with it. but yeah, I've seen some YouTube stuff on high schools and colleges doing it, and yeah, for sure, the 2-man crew.
Man, I don't know if it's dirty or not. I'm saying it's not because we did it at Lassett. I don't know if they do it anymore. Oh, good stuff. Well, let's talk a little bit about your little bro in Japanese. What was that?
He was 15 at the time. It was like the Goodwill Games.
Oh, okay.
And he actually played for a team out of California, out of Fresno, I believe, Fresno State area. And he got to go to Japan, China, and experience that whole thing. They actually won the gold. And so, yeah, it was the time of his life.
Oh, man, I bet for Goodwill Games, he got to play in some, like, really cool, like, the mega stadiums
the
there.
Big stadiums. He's got pictures, and I need to tell him to pull all that stuff out. But
Yeah.
yeah, he had a really great experience.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Let me think about I got the first third defense, but if you could, I don't want to take away the speech you're going to give to the players, but I mean it's nice that you're in Buda. And I always say that town's name wrong, but I think I nailed it right there.
Buda. Perfect.
Buda. How did you end up in Buda? But like what you're looking forward to, and I guess you guys are kind of like in the middle of phone calls and recruiting and getting those guys. How's that go for you during this season? And are you coaching high school right now?
Yes, I'm over at New Braunfels Christian Academy, private
Oh,
school.
okay, nice.
So I do that in the spring, and in the fall I do Trotsky baseball.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
So just try to do baseball year round.
just baseball as much as you can.
USA. I just got back from Cary, North Carolina, a few weeks back, working for USA Baseball with the NTIS national tournament, and we won a gold medal. I was lucky enough to be part of Ruben Felix's team there, and not only had my own team, but got to work with him and ended up with the gold medal with Ruben's team.
Oh man, that is good. And the other thing, and I jump all over. I think about the one thing you should know about Smokey Joe, the exception of Jose Gutierrez, maybe like Ry Quinones and some other guys. It seemed like a little bit of a graveyard, which is somewhat different from the Chaps Stadium where you had 600-mile-an-hour winds.
Lubbock win.
And I could just pop one up, and it's like a 3-run dinger. It's a nice field. Seguin's got a nice thing there, and Mike G and Scotty B are fixing it up good. But I think the speed, that's a good instinct with that. I'm not sure how many dingers are going to go in Smokey Joe.
Yeah, it's tough to defend speed, whether it's offense or defense. So, you got speed, you can make some plays and make some things happen.
Bunting is out of fashion. They're taking away the shifts. I like to shift because it made dudes like, oh, you want to do that? I'll drop one down. If you're fast, we're outfielders. You're like, okay, let's see if I can steal one. Steal a hit here. And it's a technique thing, right? It takes skill to not pop it up and to catch it and get it where you want it or drag it to first. Your philosophies on like small ball bunting. And how good were you at that? And did you like doing that?
For a small guy, you would think I would be a good bunter, but I hated to bunt.
Oh yeah.
I actually usually hit like second or third in the lineup the years that I played. But I wasn't very good at it. But for me, as a coach, I love it. First and third push here, push bunt, get things going, especially if the pitcher's just dealing and. We don't have very many hits, very many people on base, then definitely bunt, just to make something happen.
Yeah, sometimes maybe if it just doesn't make sense, like everybody's sleeping on it, and then all of a sudden it shows up. Well, man, I'm super excited to meet you, Coach Perez. Any epic career baseball stories that you have? Actually, one thing I was going to ask about the Jayhawk League, the 24 hours of baseball, is that still what is that?
The NBC World Series.
The NBC World Series.
Wichita, Kansas. I was lucky enough to play in that.
And it just goes all night, yes. Right? Like 3 a.m. You're still playing baseball.
And we actually got to play the prime game there at 7 p.m. And so the stands are super crowded, and it was a fun experience. Yeah.
In your coaching experience, is the Alaskan League still going on? Because it was it died for a few years. I don't know, it was like COVID, kind of stopped everything. But even before that, I thought it stopped for a few years.
I know it's still going strong. I talked to a coach this past summer that was really involved in it. But I just don't have much experience with it other than just having friends that played in it. But I don't know much about it.
Once you start looking, there's more summer leagues than you realize. But the TCL is a good one. And I'm really excited that, Mike G and Scotty B and everybody out there is putting together a Seguin team.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. In fact, I had a player from the New Braunfels Christian Academy that told me that Seguin had a team. I was like, what? And I looked it up. But I was already going up north last summer. And when I saw an opportunity online that they were looking.
Yeah.
So I threw my hat in the ring. And
that's great.
Just happy that
it's a great location. Because you have so much good baseball in the I-35 corridor, just super nearby, and then you got. Trinity's got good baseball. There's a ton of good baseball in San Antonio and all the surrounding areas, and just overloaded with JUCOs and guys looking to play.
Yep, I still have many friends. Well, that's the thing. The same people that I reach out to year in, year out. Now they know I'm over here, so we're attracting the kids, the connections that I've built over the years, and just trying to attract the kids to Seguin.
Oh man, what's one piece of advice you would give any player?
Take the weightlifting serious. I think that's a difference maker.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that can hit, that can field, maybe take that for granted because it's a lot of times just natural ability. But
Yeah.
the weights are definitely the separator.
Would you say, and that's interesting that you say because I wasn't that good at it, but honestly, when you look at a lot of these dudes jacking homers, just huge junk in the trunk, massive legs. Like, you wouldn't think lifting legs. I mean, I guess if, like, speedy guys, I wouldn't probably tell Deion Sanders, like, do more squats. But, like, it seems like a lot of power is coming out of the legs.
Yep. It's the base. We always talk about, the pyramid being balanced and this and that, but it's the base. It's the legs and the core, is what can make things happen for you.
Yeah, right. Because it was like the legs would seem to be more of a focus for pitchers back in the 90s. Like, dudes were just getting huge quads, and that made sense. You're pushing off. But I guess now I'm just, like, starting to put it together, which doesn't help me because I'm 46 and I can't hit anymore, only at D-bat. But, yeah, definitely that's good. Do the weight training. Well, man, Coach Perez, Tony Perez, I'm just going to call you Coach Perez, man. You earned the title, and we're super happy to have you on board. I'll do some bump music on the way out. We knocked out a good 36-minute interview, and we'll have much more to talk about. But give people a tease on all the good stuff that's happening out at Seguin TCL. We'll get some outro music. Sounds like we're about to win the war over Russia and Ukraine with this tune. I'm trying to find that. But anyway, man, Chaparrals uniting out in Seguin. Anthony Turnstile for Dutch Chattahoochee can't make it today. And Mike G, Scotty B, and all the River Monsters, past players and future players. We look forward to summer 2023 being a good one. Other than that, we're out. We're going to grab some lunch. We're going to get some barbecue station. Check us out, Seguin TCL or 3BGB. We're always doing something crazy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in, Coach.